The past few weeks have seen an increase in kidnapping and destruction of communities in some northern states, including the kidnap of varsity students. And this is not the first time students will be kidnapped in their school uniforms whilst in class. We, of course, recall the 276 Chibok girls of April 2014, the 2021 FGC students in KB State, and just to mention a few.
Now, House of Representatives member Ibrahim Al-Mustafa Rabah has blamed the kidnap of students to the government's failure to invest in education and job creation, leading rather to a surge in criminal activities. He said, and I quote, "The street boys, the out-of-school children, the Almajiris of the last 20 years are the grown-up unemployed population we are managing today."
Now, why has there been a failure in improving security architecture of our schools in the north? Why is education not a priority when it comes to government interventions? To look at lack of support and insecurity bedeviling the growth of education, the need for better remuneration of teachers, and the need to care for the youth, we have joining us this morning Justadetoun, a revolutionary matriarch and social activist with an unswerving commitment to promoting social justice and forging a more equitable society for every Nigerian. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, everyone.
All right. Now let's talk about what exactly is the issue. Maybe if you can lead us through. You've lent your voice and spoken very strongly on a number of issues concerning Nigeria's economy, Nigeria's growth, and Nigeria's progress. We've seen several stories of kidnap. It's almost like a few days ago on the front pages of the newspaper, we saw another one. It's almost like every other day we're hearing of one kidnap or the other of schools, of children in their school uniforms. The most publicized, of course, being the April 2014 Chibok girls incidents. What are we not doing differently as a nation to ensure that this did not, repeat itself? Because it has repeated itself a number of times.
Yeah, thank you. For me, I think this insecurity thing and kidnapping boils down to lack of security and protection of our youths. If we've had something happen previously, what has the government done to curb this? And then, if children are going to school, I feel they should be protected. School environment should be protected. School environment should be properly monitored. And when this is done, people who want to commit such crimes will already know that, okay, we can easily be caught. But you see people invade schools, you see people attack people, and then nothing is being done. And then what do you expect? These are people who are jobless. They don't have anything to do. And they know that this is a business for them. Kidnapping has become a legal business in the northern side of Nigeria. So these people go out, pick these people, because they know that negotiations will come in, money will come in and all of that. So I feel everything still boils down to the government. Lack of security, lack of protection, and basically that is lack of giving the children their fundamental rights, because one of the fundamental rights of our children is proper protection from the government, security, and our children don't have it. So even when we walk on the street with fear, lest these children, teachers are not protected, students are not protected, the environment is not protected. So what do you expect? Things like this will continue to repeat itself. And the pattern that have happened, what happened? So we need to look at the trail of what has been happening, how it has been addressed, what has been done to curb it, what has been done to protect these children, and you realize that the noise comes for a time, everything goes down, and then it comes to play back again.
Well, now Nigeria has a new government. There have been, of course, a lot of complaints in the past from the Buhari administration and how, even previous administrations, how they failed the north, but of course, that includes the state governors also failing to build on these structures, failing to improve on the level of education, what we started the conversation with. It is the failure to educate people 15 years ago that has led to the bandits that we see today. What would your request be to the new government in Nigeria if they are genuinely serious about ending these things and not paying lip service to it? What would your expectations be, and do you really believe that they will be able to achieve different?
For me, I believe when situations are like this or when there's a new government, the first thing you need to identify is what are the root causes of these problems. Now, solving this problem is not going to happen from the top. If you want to solve insecurity, if you want to take care of the people, if you really, really are concerned about changing the narrative, you have to understand that first, breaking the chain of poverty has to be from the root. The kinship has to be involved. We need to start from the very first community. Building a nation starts from family, From family, it goes into the community. From there, it goes into the society. Then it goes around like that before it becomes a national issue. So for us to be able to curb these things, our kings, our chiefs needs to be involved. Those days, they used to be the first protector we have. But right now, are they involved in securing? Are they involved in protecting? Are they involved in management of the people? No, they are not. So the kings, the chiefs, the local securities, the local authorities need to be brought on board. The local government have to function. When those function, then the people at the top can relax and say, okay, we have given power to the people down below, and the people around our own people, they can protect them, they can run to them for safety, they can run to them for whatever they need, and then we take it up. And once we're able to do that, we will rise to the top. So this government has not shown me, or generally people, intention to deal with the underlying problems from the roots. For me, what I've seen them doing is still trying to fix and put their own people and put paperwork together, trusted allies. That's what I see this government doing now, putting their trusted allies, because about governance is about loyalty and trust. Who can I run to? Who can hold my battle? Who can hold my post? Who can hold my position? And I think that is what they've been doing, because if you look at the selection of people that have been brought, you realize that these are the people that have been coming from way back. And these are the same people who know what the common man's problem is. These are the same people who have not been able to solve this problem. So for me, I don't see a green light trying to resolve this problem on ground. But the truth of the matter is, this government has no choice. I put it straight. This government has no choice than to solve this problem, because the problem we had before was caused by this same party. And this same party is back in power. So they know the nitty-gritty of everything, the human cry and the human pain. And they have nothing. They're compelled. They're compelled by loyalty to the citizens to solve this problem that we are now, because this is our last chance. Nigeria was already on a nosedive. If they're not able to fix this problem, this country is going to sink broad daylight.
All right. The 11th of October this year was, of course, International Day of the Girl Child, and we see the observance around the world. The theme for this year was centered on, it said, invest in girls' rights, our leadership, our well-being. And I would want you, as an activist yourself, I know that you're very passionate about children, about the girl child. How would you rate where we are and where we need to be? Also, of course, we know that education is one of the rights of the girl child. Unfortunately, that's been truncated by insecurity and being bedeviled by insecurity concerns, especially in the north. But generally, how would you say we are ranking as a nation in terms of upholding the girls' rights, and where should we be? Where are we headed?
I fear for that question. I fear for that question because today, as I speak, our girls are no longer where they are expected to be. Their targets are no longer where it's supposed to be geared towards. A girl child is a weapon of leadership. A girl child is a weapon of change. A girl child is a weapon of building a family and a nation. Right now, what are our girls into? What are our girls looking up to? What are our girls targeting? That's the problem we have right now. We are far behind if we are talking about the girl child raising the battle and the mantle of power, because our girls have really, really deviated from who they are, what they are supposed to be. And for me, I blame it on the society right now. The society is not helping our girl child. Our girl child is not being protected. Our girl child is not being mentored into becoming leaders of tomorrow. So right now, I look at it that our children, our girl child, have started to become professors of what we don't know and what we fear them to become.
Oh, wow.
Because right now, if we continue to look at the stories happening around us and what our girl child, and then what the girls generally, even with the adult, it becomes worrisome. So for me, I think that the government needs to pull up and tie the strings of security. They need to pull up and tie the strings of education so that our children will know that they have nothing. I said that's the time for everything. Right now, all our children need to know, the girl child needs to understand that education is all I need right now. There's a song I sang. I said, Iwe ni koko, afi kunle wow. Tell mommy, I'm going to make you proud. I'm going to make we proud. The only people who can make us proud right now are girls. But trust me, I fear. I fear because it's not even in the limelight.
There's
Our children, our girls are targeting different things. They're more concerned about their beauty. They're more concerned about what they need to get, material things, not understanding that the only way they can become who we want them to be is to have that weapon to break that chain of poverty. But we don't have it right now. I worry.
Yeah, there's a lot of work, that obviously needs to be done. I think the prayer has always been, that the Nigerian government understands what is at stake, puts the right people in office, and is able to fix, the problem, even if, just a percentage of it, but fix it to some extent. Do we trust in the current Nigerian government to do those things? Well, it's Nigerian people that will answer that. Go ahead.
For
You were going
me,
to say something.
I don't see them being able to do this.
Yeah.
Ask me why. Because our leaders don't have what we call this parental factor, this parental spirit. They don't see themselves as our parents. They don't see themselves as the parents of the youth. So once you don't have that sense of belonging, like it's my parental right, not governmental right to protect these children, to empower them with education, to make it like a compulsory thing. Right now, we've been writing letters to schools. You can imagine us writing letters to schools, and you drop letters at schools, and the schools will tell you, oh, they need to get approval from zonal leaders, and the zonal leaders will tell you they need to get from ZDO, and the ZDO will tell you they need to get from government. Something, they are hiding something. They also don't want people to have access to these children because they know how corrupt and how bad things have become. And they know that once these children have an opportunity to speak to the external people, a lot of things will blow up. So the government needs to first understand what their roles are and how important every child is. Understanding how important every girl child is now takes you back to your drawing book to intensify every material, every tool, every avenue to ensure that they get it right. Are they doing that? It's a no.
Thank you very much for joining us. Important conversations, and we will continue to expand on them as time passes, bit by bit. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll move on from that conversation, a very important conversation to have, talk about the girl child and the work that needs to be done. I think my heart breaks every time that I'm driving and I see these young girls on the road, children birthing children, begging for money. The unfortunate thing is if you try to dismantle the system, they'll tell you it's the way of their life and the way of culture. And I mean, these children deserve to be in schools or at least be taken care of by parents. But then they've turned these kids into breadwinners from a young age, from the age of 5 or thereabouts. They're on the streets saying, "Auntie, I like your hair, I like your makeup," exposing them to a lifestyle that they could easily be abused.
And it's not just girls. It's kids.
Yes, kids in general.
And I think we should still remember that Nigeria still has the highest number of out of school children.
It's even the rate in which it doubled.
Yeah.
For a while it was 10.5 million, and all of a sudden the numbers are doubling.
The challenges that need to be sorted out are not just also on the federal level. There's the state level, there's the local government, and everybody needs to take responsibility. Yes, we normally would be saying to the Nigerian government, increase your budget, your allocation to education, make education more important, in your priority list, basically, as a government. But we don't seem to see a lot of that happening. But at the same time, it's important that we also channel that energy to the state governments. In every state that we're pointing out here that has these IDP camps and has these number of out-of-school children and has this number of kids being affected by kidnapping and banditry, there should be bigger questions asked as to what the state governments are doing, not just the federal government. What is the local government areas in those places doing? Because, and I will repeatedly say it, every local government area in Nigeria, on the average, receives between 100 to 200 million every month as its allocation. And what do they do with that money? I mean, what ways are those funds channeled into making those local governments better? Not just the state government, it's not just the federal government.
And then maybe this will now reactivate the conversations about state policing and community policing.
Yeah, there is that.
We're looking at the security.
But if you don't educate these persons, you will continue to have the security challenge.
Well, part of why a number of them cannot be educated is already because of the security challenges. As a mother in the north, watching the trauma of either maybe having lost a child imagine a parent who's lost their daughter during the Chibok attack or the subsequent attacks on schools. It will take a miracle to allow another of your child to go to school, because all you're thinking is, the one I sent to school, it doesn't even have to be your child, just watching my neighbor's child went to school and from school she was kidnapped. that's sending a message. So a number of them would not even want to educate their children already because there's security challenges. Just like the chicken and the egg conversation, you know, it's